Welcome back, people. It is episode 7 of season 5 of the Taxi Squad podcast. Before we get into this lovely episode, be sure you subscribe, follow, and share it with a friend no matter where you get your podcasts. If you follow us on YouTube, a lot of exclusive content. Be sure you stay there. Now, we got a fair amount to get into, strange and unusual topics. We got some people and Swifties losing their mind. Stay away from the crazies. We also have some college football and college basketball talk, some NBA All-Star talk, pitchers and catchers report for duty, and of course, Super Bowl talk. It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now.
Kick back and relax for now.
We talk about sports and stupid stuff. We're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back. It's the Taxi Squad. Yeah.
Vince, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Happy end of football.
Yeah, football's over, dude. And it is pretty depressing, but okay. Do you feel the same way I do? I feel sad, but okay about it.
Yeah, it's just nice now that there's some real
Time.
there's like some real happiness about the team that always gets the break, the team that always gets the last minute call, the team that always gets the preferential treatment, one could say,
Yeah.
gets absolutely fucking smoked. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to bury the lead because we're going to get into it in far more
What, you're
depth.
telling me the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl? I think everybody knows that.
I know that, but like, it's the
Figured
way
we'd
they
figure that
lost.
out.
It's wonderful to see after years and years of calls going their way and all of it.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see them getting a little smacked up, you know?
Hey,
It's
I'm
like
with
the
ya.
villain. It's like the villain in a Batman movie that keeps fucking with Batman the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, Batman just beats
Gets his
the
get
fuck
back.
out of him, right? The Eagles, Batman, Chiefs, either Bane or the Joker. So there you go.
Okay.
Pick one.
I like
There's
it.
my comic book reference for the day. You know, I'm off to an interesting start with how football. I'm drinking Diet Coke.
Pardon?
I mean, this is
Why?
what happens when you're 33. I don't know. I saw it in the fridge and it just kind of looked delightful. And I was like, well, I guess I'll drink a Diet Coke today.
I'm not much of a pop guy. I don't drink a lot of pop.
See, that's a very Midwest thing to say. I'm not
Yeah.
much of a pop guy.
I don't like
So,
pop
like,
much.
I'm not a pop guy. And then, like, that is something that's strange and unusual
go.
before we get into
Yeah,
strange and
get
unusual.
on your soapbox.
The different parts of the world that call pop or soda
pop.
or soft
Coke.
drinks different things. Because, like, if
Isn't
you
that
go
a
to
thing
the
in the South where
Northeast,
they say Coke? Like, let me get a Coke.
Kinda.
What is anything? And is anything?
it could
you
be
want?
anything,
Yeah.
right? In the Northeast, they call it soda.
Yeah. Most
a
places
thing.
do. Most places do.
In the West, I don't know what they do.
Soda
but like
as well. It's the
soda.
majority of the country. And then up in the Midwest, we say, can I get a pop with that, buddy?
Just a
I like
pop.
an RC. You got RC pop here.
You got an
And then
RC
down-
cola.
And then down south, they're like, give me an orange Coke. And you're like, what? And it's like, oh, like a Fanta. Like an orange
In
Coke.
the South, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's due to the heat or truck driving or a matter of both. I don't know. But like people everywhere you see have a drink. And it's not like an alcoholic
Yeah.
beverage.
Sweet tea.
It's like a drink, a sweet tea. You got to stop at the QT to get a DC. Or you got to do those things. And if you don't get that, like
Sweet pea with the
like
sweet tea.
quick
You got to
trip,
stop at the
the
QT
one with
for a
the Q-
DC.
right? Like the QT quick trip is different than the quick trip in the Midwest with a K, right?
Oh, QUIK trip.
Yeah,
I'm used
they're
to
different.
those.
And then Bucky's is a big deal.
I love Buc-ee's. Yeah, love
Yeah,
Buc-ee's.
Bucky's. Like I guess it's very interesting, the models of these gas stations / like food halls. It's
Yeah.
very odd.
It's a whole thing. I do have a question for you before we get into Strange Unusual, because this is not on topic today. Golf. You went to go see golf.
Oh.
You viewed golf at the Waste Management Open. You joined the aforementioned white Caucasian 25 to 55-year-olds this weekend, Mike, and you partook. How did it go?
Vince, I was a part of the white people drinking Olympics over the weekend.
Which is kind of exactly your place to be, if I'm being honest.
It was wonderful. We were in the greenkeepers area, which, if anybody doesn't know, that's the 18th hole.
Yeah.
I sent Vince a lot of videos to chop up, so he's got some editing.
We'll be having a nice little recap video coming out soon.
Nice little recap video. I was on the 18th hole. It was a party, DJ, drinks all day, food all day. You get the little wristband that gets you into like the area.
Tan.
Yeah, definitely got some sun. You know, I had the
hold your hand up again. Other one, right, with the wristband on it. Oh, yeah, you can see it a little bit. Nice.
Yeah,
all right.
Got a little going on. Got a little going on, right?
It. Look at the hairy buffoon over there.
I was a matchy guy. I rocked the shirt with that says the 16th hole, which I wasn't on the 16th hole, but I had the J's on. I was fitted.
What number J's? Are they like casual wear, or are they?
These were casual wear J's, Air Maxes. Ooh. They're pretty jazzy, match the fit. I was kind of looking like hello fellow youths. I was kind of looking like hello fellow youths.
That's the whitest shit ever.
Somehow,
jazzy?
I had every white bro on the planet come up to me randomly and be like, dude, your outfit's sick. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's how you know. That's how you know right there.
That you're Caucasian as shit.
you're kind of Caucasian, because that's like the most Caucasian compliment you could get. Yeah. If like a white dude says you look cool, that means either he's fucking wasted, or he thinks you're cool, or that's about it.
Buddy,
right?
Your shoes are jazzy as Ray Charles right now.
Yeah, like, just like, bro, your fit's sick, bro. Like I had like,
holy moly, you look great right now, buddy.
These group of white dudes who are blacked out just be like, dude, that shirt's fucking sick, bro. Where'd you find that? And I looked at Kai at one point. And I was like, hey, wife, I'm getting more compliments to you today. What's that? What's that about? She's
You're
like,
a hot white, dude. You're my favorite hot white.
I'm a hot white. I told some guy to kind of polite. Here's the most polite way to tell somebody to fuck off. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So we had a drunk guy come up to our table. Like he was blacked out.
DG, okay.
And like my wife and my sister-in-law were like, fuck this guy. And they split. And he was just like, what's their problem? I'm like, I think you should leave.
Yeah. By Tim Robinson on Netflix.
Yeah, right. And he just didn't say a word and just walked away. I'm like, that's the most polite way to tell somebody to fuck off without actually telling them to fuck off.
I would have been like, oh, dude, a dog, check it out. And then just run off. That's what I would have done.
Now, there were a handful of bro fights I saw come up.
Oh, dude, like, that was going all over. Yeah.
Some guys who just like rub shoulders the wrong way and be like, what's your fucking problem? What's your fucking problem?
Yeah.
Listen, I had 100 people bump into me that day because you're in close quarters. It's busy. You're trying to get somewhere. And I got shoulders. And I had a couple guy bumps into you. You don't turn into a dickhead. My bad, man. You just keep moving. You gotta be a douche.
You forget that these are all golf bros, and they're just waiting for someone to pick a fight so they can.
Tough, but they're not.
I know. No, I know. So they can get in a slapping fight. All of them are losers. Yeah. Hey, leave me alone. You hit me. Ouch. Like, I don't need any of that shit.
My dad's gonna sue your dad.
Yeah, that's like a yearly tradition where you get it on like the Instagram pages, the Zaire Golfs and such, where it's just like Waste Management Open, first fight of the weekend, and it's just like two guys just like, my trust fund's bigger than yours. Like, I will slap you into oblivion, sweetheart. It's like, Nathan, stop. Like, literally, that's all it is. Over and over again. And then they both leave, and they're like, he slapped me really hard, and now I'm going to have a fucking hand on my face all day, and I'm so pissed about it. Lame.
Sorry, we made up, though. It's fine, though. Like, he gave me a key bump on the 15th, and it was fine.
Yeah, it does look cocaine-fueled as well. It looks very fun. It looks like you had a great time. It looks like there are also the worst people ever there in the same you know.
Absolutely.
Beautiful though, and I do like that the PGA has an event where people can actually have fun instead of have to be like pompous, like I flew private to this event, and I went to the Masters and I loved it, but that's kind of the same way too. It was just like if you're not just a fine young man the whole time, then you're out of here, that kind of deal. So
Pod event for sure next year.
okay,
We should definitely plan ahead. It is a party. It's a wonderful time. We should definitely go. You thought of the bros all day, because it's more so you don't watch a ton of golf. I'm not gonna lie.
No shot.
But
it's a party.
It's a party, and you go to a couple holes, and you're like, okay, watch the guy drive, watch the guy tee up. Okay, cool. Then you watch a guy putt, and then you're like, okay, I got it all out of my system. Let's keep drinking. But other than that, man, it was a wonderful time. The running of the bros. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, at the beginning, so they can all get to the right place at the end, right?
So they're all running to one place, and it's the 16th hole.
Yeah.
Tried to go to the 16th hole just to like walk in. There's a line out the door, regardless of the time you go.
I think Justin Thomas hit an eagle there this week.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know, but everybody loses their mind. I guess these people wear adult diapers so they don't get up from their spot.
Right, so they don't lose it. So they
spot,
shit and piss themselves. Yeah. Gross.
I'm not
Nothing's
that
that
serious.
serious.
Anything.
Nothing's that serious.
I would not shit and piss myself if you paid me a lot of money.
Well, you also wouldn't suck a ding-a-ling long for 700 mil, which is still a lie.
I mean, we discussed quite. I didn't say yes or no.
You would
probably no.
You would do it. You would do it.
I don't think
$700 million, close to $1 billion. You guys you're good for generations.
I mean, would you do it?
Yeah. Yes.
100%.
700 million. Yeah, dude.
Eye contact and all.
It would be horrible. It would be horrifying. But a horrifying 10 minutes for $700 million. Yeah, I would do it.
Okay.
And if you tell me that you wouldn't do it, you're wrong. Because if the actual opportunity, they had a chest full of $700 million, like, this is yours if you just suck on my Peter. And I'd be like, I'm Peter Piper, baby. Let me play that shit for a minute. Like, that's what I'd be doing. 100%.
If you're listening to this right now, call in and air it out at 312-725-2107 and tell us if you'd suck a peen for $700 million.
It's almost like we have that coming later. Lead buried. Strange and unusual, Mike.
All right.
The Super Bowl happened this week. The Super Bowl happened this week.
It did. It was wonderful. It was electric.
Guess what, dude?
What, dude?
The Eagles won.
We know that.
The Eagles won it, and CJ Gardner-Johnson posted a story on Instagram that sent waves through the social media platforms. He posted something about Travis Kelce. So there's a picture of him talking to Travis Kelce. If you don't remember, Travis Kelce had a dating show back in the day where he was dating women. He ended up dating a black lady for a long time, thicker than Taylor Swift, which CJ Gardner-Johnson
not very difficult to do.
Right. Yes. But CJ Gardner-Johnson posted this. So if you can't see that if you're on streaming, I will tell you right now. It said, should have stayed with that thick shit is what he said. And he's looking at him. And on the left is his ex-girlfriend. Thicker for sure. 100%. There's no arguing that. CJ Gardner-Johnson wanted smoke, had smoke. Now, that's funny. But the real storyline is that you don't mess with Taylor Swift's boyfriend, is what we learned. And I would like to say this off the bat. The most insufferable and terrifying group of people are Swifties on the internet. So CJ Gardner-Johnson did this to Travis Kelce. Two men, back and forth. He won the Super Bowl. He was feeling nicey, as John Gruden would say.
Please tell me the Swifties came out to like show her butt or something.
No, the Swifties proceeded to go to CJ Gardner-Johnson and figure out that his mom has a restaurant, a small business, and went onto her Yelp and her Google reviews and gave 1-star ratings to her entire Yelp and her entire Google review.
Oh, no.
Because her son did something.
Oh, no.
And to that, I say, you guys are fucking insane. Delusional, fucked up people. 100%.
Vince, you know what this is?
Terrible service. Terrible customer service. Worst
Vince,
food I've
you
ever
know
had in my life. What?
This is Karen training. This is
It is.
Karen's in the making.
Oh, dude, yeah. Swifties are literally Karens, but younger.
This is Karen's in the making, like right here. The fact that they felt the need to attack an innocent bystander, being CJ Gardner,
For someone who doesn't know who they are.
they don't watch the fucking game. The only reason they watch the game is to try and get a view of her, which they didn't, which was fantastic.
One time at halftime.
One time and she got booed, and it was beautiful. It was chef's kiss. You gotta love it
too, dude. Is like she's not even asking them to do it. She's got such a deranged fan base that says that there's no way she even wants them to do that to this guy's mom. Like you almost can't even blame her, but it's like what the fuck? There's an army of people that don't have anything better to do that they're ruining this guy's mom's thing for something that he did. It's just gross. Like these are gross people. Swifties are gross and they're bad. 100%.
Yeah.
So now
don't ruin somebody's life because you have an incredible allegiance to some white lady who sings about
because her boyfriend, somebody shit talked her boyfriend on Instagram. Don't ruin this guy's mom's life. So what's happening right now is a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans are going on there and giving her 5-star reviews to kind of bring it back. But unfortunately, there are millions of Swifties that have nothing better than to bow to their fake queen. So,
wow.
To that, I say, fuck you guys. Fuck.
Do you believe the conspiracy theory that she was she's like a reincarnated Satanist? Because like the original queen of the Satanist group or religion, the priestess they called her, looks an awful lot like Taylor Swift. Have you seen this conspiracy theory / tinfoil hat theory on the internet? Yeah.
If
you look up like the highest priestess in Satanism, like it is allegedly her. Like if you look at it, like if you Google, Vince, you may want to bring this up because this is like a real thing.
It's up right now, dude.
They oddly look alike, and a lot of people think because of the Satan power that she is in the reincarnated version of this lady.
She kind of looks like her, yeah.
They look kind of awkwardly alike.
Yeah.
Show the high priestess of Satan, and then show her.
That's it. We're looking at it right now. That's a comparative right now. I see it. I don't believe that she's a reincarnated version of the high priestess of Satan. No, if that's what you're asking me.
I'm just saying. It could be a thing, you know? Maybe it's lizard people. Maybe it's lizard people.
I would say the resemblance is uncanny. I will give you
It's lizard people.
Don't bring his name up or we're going to get pulled again.
Yeah, I know. I can't say it. I can only impersonate.
You can't say the frog's gay guy or you get in trouble on YouTube. TikTok pulls off your videos.
TikTok immediately no, but
yeah,
you can
I don't believe
about
it.
Sucking peens for millions.
I also don't think she's like a bad person. I don't think any of it is an actual reflection on her as like a person. I don't like her, but like I do think that her fans are psycho.
Look at the picture. Like
I am.
She may know what she's doing, Vince. She could be at these, Swiftie concerts, right? And, in between the acts, there's some Satanist shit going on the screen. And she's like programming the crowd to be like, write terrible reviews on CJ Gardner's mom's restaurant.
Yeah.
Pledge your allegiance to me, Taylor.
Yeah, I don't think that that's happening.
Jack Antonoff's queen in music.
It's true.
Production.
That's a solid poll. But no, I don't.
From the bleachers.
For what it's worth, I don't think that she's a Satanist. I also don't think she's a bad person. I think that her fans are bad and they should get a life.
Yeah. What about guys who are into Taylor? What about the grown adult men who are into Taylor Swift? What do you think about them? The straight ones, at least.
Okay. I mean, you can like what you like. I'm not going to hate on it. Now, if you're doing that also, that's the thing. It's like it would be like erasure to like the insane women. If I'm like, men shouldn't do what women are doing, they should all stop doing this psycho shit. If you like
Yeah,
Taylor
don't
Swift,
do the
I don't.
psycho shit. It's music. It's art, right?
I
You
don't
like the
care.
art you like.
It's like a Taylor Swift is not on my radar. But if you want to go like it, like what you want, dude. I don't care. I got no issue with that. As long as you're not making guys' moms go out of business by rating them because someone said something mean about her boyfriend. That's a
Just
whole
don't be
different thing.
just don't be a Karen in training, right? That's I
Essentially.
think that's bottom line. Don't
That's
be a
what we're
Karen
looking
in
for.
training. Don't
Yeah.
do it. It's bad. Now, then some things happen in New Orleans, and if you're familiar with Patrick Mahomes, the original, his dad, Pat Mahomes Jr., his father, Pat Mahomes Sr., Senior, notably played professional baseball for the Twins. I believe the Blue Jays,
A couple teams,
a couple different teams. He was kind of a journeyman. And another former MLB kind of star, very, very
Stars.
I mean, he was known for all the wrong reasons.
Front page news star. Skill level, not star.
He was a controversial player at the time, a guy by the name of John Rocker, who was a closer.
Yeah.
And he would say a lot of very out-of-pocket things back then in the media, and played in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And him, Pat Mahomes Sr., and John Rocker used to play against one another. Well, videos on the internet, which you could see in front of you here if you're on the YouTubes, have now sparked new thought process that old beefs are now real once again. Because this is a video of the two of them after the Super Bowl on Bourbon Street, clearly intoxicated, getting into a little bit of a pissing match. And now, it is like basically the battle of the alcoholic dads who once played baseball.
Battle of the alcoholic 70-year-olds. They're too fucking old, dude. This is so lame. It's so lame.
It has been known that Pat Mahomes Sr. has probably some alcohol issues, and it's a little sad.
More alcohol issues and also like judgment issues when consuming said alcohol. Don't drive drunk.
Yeah, he's notably gotten DUIs. John Rocker basically got excommunicated from baseball. Not many people have heard from him since.
Because he wasn't as good as annoying as he was. That was the real problem.
No, and he would always like target guys, hit guys, all that good stuff, and either way. But now it is released that Rough and Rowdy are going to be featuring the both of them in like their main event in next week's fight.
The least surprising thing I've ever heard in my life.
I know, but it kind of leads me to believe, is this like
a stunt?
WWE stage it before you rage it sort of idea?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Or like, so two things happened. They got an argument. Barstool was like, let's make money off of this. Or they already hated each other. Barstool's like, well, if you're going to both be here, just go get in an argument on like the important night. Whatever ends up happening happens. Like this is exactly what you expect to happen at that time. And then like right after that, it's like Logan Paul joins the WWE. It's like John Cena hates whoever the fuck else is in wrestling. Like it's so, I don't know. What I will say is I do not care to watch this. There is nothing in me that wants to see John Rocker fight Pat Mahomes' dad. If I'm Pat Mahomes' dad, I'm like, shut up, dude. This is not about you. This is the same thing. Like, could you imagine? It's like Jackson. It's the same thing. It's like, let your brother just be great by himself. Like, why do you need to bring all this shit to you? Like, why are you that important? The self-importance is crazy.
Do you think Pat Mahomes Jr., being the star quarterback that he is, gets like so annoyed and frustrated with this that his dad's kind of a degenerate?
Yeah.
And he's in the media for all the wrong things all the time.
And that's the same thing with his wife for a little bit. And she's like taking a back seat, which is good. It's the same thing with his brother. And then he gets in legal trouble for being an actual sexual assaulter. Why? Like, they're preying on his downfall. And also, why is Pat Mahomes Sr. doing this? Like, what's his benefit of doing that?
I don't get it. He doesn't need the money,
need money.
unless Pat Mahomes Jr. is totally just like, dude, I'm not giving you any money. Because
Yeah,
the
he's
parents
worth-
are clearly divorced.
He's worth
right?
$500 million now. His contract's $500 million. Like, Barstool Sports cannot be paying him that much money. There's no way.
Maybe the beef is that real. Maybe they just dislike each other from back in the day. But then
Yeah,
again,
but spar. Why do you need this on TV? Also, who gives a flying shit about John Rocker?
it's John Rocker's play of trying.
When's the last time
become
you heard his
some
name?
Sort of relevant today.
When's the last time you heard his name?
Today,
Right.
literally today.
I know. Before that,
2004, 5.
that's what I'm saying. Like, who gives a
So
shit?
20 years ago is the
It's
last
like
time I remember
Canseco-
John Rocker.
Canseco fought in it too, and he took a dive. This is going to be a fake, stupid fight. The same reason everybody else buys into fights that you want to watch. It's like the really like F-list version of the Tyson Paul fight. When Tyson walked out, and you're like, oh, he's going to die in there, and then they just took it easy on each other and then got the paycheck. I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah, these fights are so stupid anymore, and it's like almost excuses just to get other people their 20 minutes of fame, and then they become epic internet stars. For example,
John Rocker is going to start like a baseball hard ass podcast or something.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Either that, or it's going to be some new ring girl who's an Instagram influencer
Cindy
who
Thomas,
goes out
too.
there with the only credibility she ever had is that she was hot and she went to Bama,
Yeah.
and then she went on Netflix.
You don't have to have a lot of skills.
Titties oiled out,
Yeah.
and then one thing leads to another. Boom, she's a star. It's
Yeah,
like,
but that's how that goes,
I get it.
If you got it, lean on it, I suppose. But
I
whatever.
understand it entirely.
The thing is,
Hey,
what I don't want is for her to be like, this is how people should act. I'm like, oh, well, for what real backing do you have for me to listen to you, how I should act? Like, I don't know if you're like a psychologist, like you're kind of just big boobies, unfortunately.
they're out there. They're out and in
That's
charge,
what
you
she
know?
that's what she kind of presented herself as. So you take that as such.
Isn't it funny that she said that a SEC coach slid in her DMs and the entire college football watching world was just like, we all know who it is.
You know what's funny now though is Lane Kiffin.
It's Lane.
Kiffin,
It's Lane.
Lane Kiffin retweeted a story where like the story was like Lane Kiffin's daughter wearing like scandalous bikini strap or whatever, and he retweeted it. He's just admitted that his daughter is like hot now, so that's pretty crazy too. Yeah. Lane's on a crazy run right now.
Lane Kiffin notably got released from Alabama football because he was having an inappropriate relationship with a other coach's daughter who was just
Ole Miss,
like
baby.
15 at the time.
He's
So
Ole Miss now.
that's
Lane
insane.
Kiffin's daughter Landry slays tiny shoestring crop top standing next to dad. He retweeted that. Crazy.
Weird.
What are we doing? Look, he was like,
What?
yeah, let's make sure that this is on there.
What in the land, man, is this for real
I don't
right
know.
now?
This man is I don't get it. Should we talk about the last Strange Unusual?
Yeah, this is once again another thing where CTE exists. Kadarius Toney arrested for allegedly strangling a woman in Georgia, 2 counts of assault. And he was arrested and released shortly before the Super Bowl. And his court date is sometime in the next month. So once again, CTE exists. Looking like another Antonio Brown scenario on our hands here.
He
And
sucks.
he was horrible anyway. So.
It isn't an Antonio Brown scenario because he also wasn't good at his job.
Yeah,
He
that's
was good.
true.
He was good for like half a year, and then people were like, maybe he's got something. Doctors stated that the alleged attack left the woman with red marks on her neck and pedicle hemorrhaging in her eyes. So clearly he went fucking crazy on her. Yeah, fuck this guy, die in a ditch.
Yeah. He most notably was released by the Browns organization, which, by the way, if
Is bad
you get released
sign.
by the Browns,
That's
you
a
know
bad
you're
sign.
fucking shitty.
That is
So
a bad sign, man.
I digress.
Don't
That's the
want
last strange and unusual.
that.
All right.
We have a air it out about last week's Strange and Unusual, or I guess the conversation that we
Really?
continue to have. So let's give this a listen. Again, call in 312-725-2107. It's at the bottom of our YouTube video if you're looking for the number ever. Again, here we go.
Hey, fellas, you know who it is. Probably better to not say my name with the amount of words that I'm about to say, but long-time listener, second-time caller, continued thinker that Mike is an absolute snack. Well, last week a point was raised on the show that I think warrants more discussion. I might ramble a bit here, so bear with me. Before I start, let me just first and foremost tell you that personally to me, I think the male anatomy is absolutely abhorrent to me in every single way. I have so much respect for women because it's impressive to me that they are able to act as though there is anything appealing about a penis. However, last week the question was posed about whether it is worth it to fillet a peen for $700 million. And I just have to respond by saying, do you realize how much money $700 million is? That is a ridiculous amount of cash. And like, I know that you probably also in this situation have to take into account that the money most likely isn't taxable. So, like, unless this is a legitimate dick-sucking offer in the eyes of the federal government, which feels unlikely, you'll probably have to set up some kind of, like, money laundering situation or something like that. However, that seems pretty fucking easy when you have $700 million to spend. So I also, if we're getting on to the actual matter and subject at hand, it was also asked, I think, that whether you have to enjoy it. And I personally, I'm going to say that I don't think that matters. No. However, it is all about presentation. Okay. Personally, I mean, I think I can probably speak for both Vince and Mike here based on the conversation that I heard last week. There is not a realistic chance that any of us would really enjoy it in any way, shape, or form. However, if I was asked to make it seem like I enjoyed it for $700 million,
that was more the point, Rich. That was more the point.
To alert the Academy because I would put on a performance that makes Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men look like a middle schooler performing as Daddy Warbucks in Annie Jr. So then afterwards, sure, I'll throw up in the shower for 24 hours straight while sobbing uncontrollably. But after that, I'll shake it off and forget all about it in my overwater villa in the Maldives that I can stay at as long as I want because I have $700 million.
Okay.
Like, sure, going in, you're probably going to hold out hope that it's going to be more of a micropene scale than it'll be mudbone scale. And either way, I'm going to need a lifetime supply of breath mints, mouthwash, and Xanax. Yeah. So that should be pretty affordable considering the $700.
Okay, and it cuts off.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Well,
honestly,
some wonderful references. Some epic references.
He's right.
Richard, brilliant.
He's
absolutely brilliant. I've never been more convinced to suck a peen for $700
million. Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
The fact that he plugged Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
And a middle schooler in his act as Annie Jr.
Just saying. What a reference right there. Skip the rest of it. The reference itself is elite. Because Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, many believe, played a psychopath better than anybody has ever played a psychopath ever on the big screen. Yeah. Actual psychologists have reviewed that film to identify how psychopaths act. So to give you an idea, that film's brilliant.
Yeah.
Richard, I'm convinced. To your point.
Not difficult. He went through the whole thing and then explained again.
He spelled it out pretty eloquently.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to throw up for 24 hours and cry and get an unlimited amount of Xanax, but goddamn it, he's got $700 million. Everybody would do it. He said the male genitalia abhorrent to him. Still going to do it. Are you going to enjoy it? Doesn't matter. You're going to put on a show, dude, and that's what you got to do for $700 million. So, alas, He's correct. Again, if you say that you wouldn't, you are a liar, and I don't care anymore.
Toxic,
Liar,
man.
liar. Pants on
Masculinity.
fire.
All right.
Pants on fire.
Speaking of guys who potentially suck peens for job, Matt Patricia is now the defensive coordinator for our lovely and wonderful fandom of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Vince, thoughts?
Where did he work last, Mike?
I don't know.
I
He
believe
lost a lot of weight.
He is a skinnier man. He
Ozempic.
most recently worked for the Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. Senior defensive assistant in 2023 for the Eagles. No longer on there. You get rid of Patricia, you win a Super Bowl. That is just a fact. You get rid of Patricia, you're a better team because of it. So that's how that works. Good. You guys deserve this. This is a pairing for the ages. Go ahead, get in there, Patricia. Fuck up that defense real nice and good. I would appreciate that. He sucks. So do they.
Keep going. I was gonna let you keep going.
That's as eloquently put as I can put it.
Does this mean that Ohio State's probably not even going to touch the playoff next year and definitely lose to Michigan again?
No, because they do have unlimited money to spend in NIL, which is why they got to where they got this year anyway. They will lose to Michigan probably, though, because they're pretty good at doing that.
Fair.
Ryan Day's allergic to beating Michigan. But they won the national championship fair and square. And now they got Matt Patricia, so there's no way that's happening again.
Should we definitely just post this to get all the hate?
Yeah, they'll come back, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll come back. Yeah, we'll get some gap teeth. So we'll get a couple things coming in our way like we did last time. So
I love it. It's coming.
Yeah, hey, when you say stuff, make sure you watch what you're doing as well, because when you're pointing your finger, four fingers are pointing back at you.
Unless you lost one, then three are. But either way,
true.
Pointing right back at you. I digress. Vince, you want to talk about this kid who's arguably the best college basketball player in the country right now?
Yes, he is. The man from Maine, Cooper Flagg, the white man from Maine. He, just so you guys know, it's February. Next month is March Madness.
Yes.
We're gonna get a lot of college basketball coming up here shortly. But Cooper Flagg has an issue.
What's that issue?
The issue is that he is tripping a lot.
Tripping a lot?
He sweats a lot when he plays, just like any other white guy does.
He's a sweaty guy.
And he had the chance to win the game for Duke the other day, and it didn't go too well. He was playing against Clemson. They lost to Clemson 77-71. That's 23rd overall team, beating the 3rd overall team. He needed to make a basket to win and proceeded to slip on the ground. Now, this is the first time it's happened. This is the second time it's happened where you kind of got to be like, hey, man, clean up the sweat. But then you look at him and he's a sweaty dog. Is there any way to alleviate that issue, Mike, or is he just going to be sweating all the time?
Well, it depends on a couple different things, Vince. Now, if you're an
let me tell you
antiperspirant
about
guy,
a couple different things.
if you're an antiperspirant guy,
Yeah.
that could potentially make you sweat more because of the heavy metals inside of the antiperspirants.
True.
Now, there are many natural options he could choose to use. Maybe he just wants the stink because maybe he stinks. Now, as far as his genetic code goes, he could just be a sweaty little guy, and he really can't control that.
Little's not accurate, but
Yeah,
yes,
he's a big kid. But I'm just saying, he could just be a sweaty guy, and he really can't control that, so he's got to remain hydrated. But on top of all this, the fact that do we really think he's sweating so much that he's just perspiring on the floor?
Why is this
slipping on his own sweat?
It's a repeat offender. And hey, also, if the biggest issue that you have is you sweat too much and slip sometimes, you're probably pretty good. That's the thing. Like, he is Duke's offense. He is the king of that team. Clearly, all of that is true. 71-73, 14 seconds left in the quarter. He gets a shot up and he eats it. Can't do that.
If I'm gonna plug something, he may want to look at switching to the salt stick deodorant.
Yeah,
because it's all natural,
holistic.
And it dries you out. So you could use something like that and give it a shot. Maybe, just maybe, you're not sweating all over the place. Either that, or you take the swimmer route and you shave off all your bodily hair.
He's not very
Make
hairy
sure
to
you-
begin with.
I'm not saying he couldn't be a necessarily hairy guy, but you get rid of all the hair. Now there's not a lot of things for the sweat to cling on to.
Yeah.
And now you're just out there kind of like a baby seal,
Yeah.
just
Flapping
jumping around the court, right?
I'm thinking he maybe wears a sleeve or something, or maybe like some leg sleeves or something to kind of.
You could do that too, but you could easily sweat through that, right?
Yeah,
So-
I can't figure out why this is happening because he's a repeat issue here for
He's
him.
just a sweaty guy.
Well, I don't know if it's him or I just don't know if it's like the lack of care for the court because he's also making some crazy moves and then it's just whoosh, foot
Or
out
maybe-
from under him. He's on the ground.
Maybe he's on some supplements right now that making him sweat. Maybe he's on some thermies.
Or like super sticky shoes.
Maybe
Put
some
some
super
tack.
sticky shoes. Yeah, you could do that. Maybe a little spider tack on the bottom of the shoe.
Spider tack. Throw some spider tack on the bottom of his shoes.
Yeah,
I
yeah, you
like
could do
that.
that. You
Bring
could do
back the
that.
tack, dude.
bring the tack, not necessarily for baseball, but in this case, college basketball to keep guys
Yeah.
from tripping.
Do bring steroids to baseball though. Should we
Bring
talk about
steroids
baseball?
back to baseball.
Should we
for
talk
sure.
about baseball?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, speaking of baseball, yeah,
We have a call back from a friend last week.
Who?
Anthony Rendon, aka Toney Wage Theft. Welcome back to
Toney
the
Wage
show.
Theft.
It was announced today that Anthony Rendon is getting hip surgery right now. What's happening today, Mike? What's the big thing about today?
Pitchers and catchers report today.
Oh, cool. So spring training starting. This is a good time to get fucking hip surgery. For some reason, right now is the idea. What happened? I assume that he needed it all off season and he decided to get it at the beginning of the season.
How many games has this guy played over the past 2 years now? What is it, like
Less-
a grand total, like 20?
Less than when Ted Williams went to World War II. That's the answer to that, Mike.
Yeah. Toney Wage Theft. And what's so great about him when the media talks to him about his lack of playing, he could give a fuck. Like,
Oh, he doesn't care at
just
all.
Doesn't care.
No.
He's just like, yeah, my family's the most important thing.
Well,
like nobody
also,
questioned that,
you're
bro.
he's clearly like, I'll get this taken care of during the season when I don't have to play. Because he's out indefinitely now, too. So he might be out the entire year.
Oh, I think the Angels are like, yes, please be out the entire
Maybe
year
he
because
gets
he's
back.
worthless.
Maybe he gets back at the end of the year if he gets hip surgery in the off season, like everybody else would in the entire freaking sport. But he's like, I made my money already. Who cares? Just
What's
do
his
this.
slash line even anymore? Was he hitting like 220
Bad.
and is a WAR of like 1?
It's
Like,
bad.
just stop it. I don't even want to hear about him anymore. Just he's gonna fade off in the distance and just
Last
be one of the worst
year-
contracts ever paid out ever.
Last year, 0.6 WAR. He played in 57 games. He hit 218, 0 home runs, 0 triples, 10
See, I was
doubles.
close. 1 WAR,
You were.
220 batting average.
You
There
were.
you
Before 2020, when he went to the Angels, he had over a 300 batting average. That has changed since. Yeah, bad guy, honestly. Bad for the sport. Loser.
Typical. What happens when you give a prima donna too much money? They never want to play again.
Yeah,
It
I'm
should
looking
be
for
studied.
a post Madonna. You know what I'm saying?
It should be studied that what happens to players after they get to the Angels. Like truly.
Yeah. Hey, our
Think
boys
about
on
it.
now.
Pujols, Trout. Well,
Well,
he got
Trout.
drafted there.
Yeah, Trout
And
was
then
amazing with him.
Shohei. It's horrible.
Well, like it's got to be mental turmoil because like Shohei played very well with the Angels, Trout played very well with the Angels. Pujols had 2 years where he was consistent with his Cardinals. He just got old. It's just like they can bring good players in, but the team altogether will never play well. It's just how it goes. Tim Anderson's now an Angel. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that
on a
moves
minor
the needle.
league deal. That's he gets punched in the face and then everything changes for him for the rest of eternity.
Another downfall that should be studied. Tim Anderson,
Javi
Silver
Baez.
Slugger 3 years in a row, and then just dog shit.
How about Javi
Chicago
Baez?
shortstops.
Yeah.
Chicago shortstops. The downfall should be studied forever.
Truly.
There
It's
you have it.
fucking crazy. Alex Bregman, teamless.
That won't last long.
He's going to the Cubs?
I don't know if he's going to go to the Cubs.
It's
I
looking
think
like it.
he's a Boris client, so
But
I think there's a
Boris
real
has kind of
possibility he
learned this
stays in Houston.
offseason that, like, sometimes waiting that long isn't going to
Well-
work out. Like, their teams are playing ball with him now.
Pete Alonso got re-signed by the Mets, which there was a lot of posturing there. But who else? Who wants him other than the Mets? I'm sorry.
He does.
They clearly.
He hits bombs though.
Yeah, but he's a one-trick pony, defensive liability.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. It's like at least Paul Konerko, if we're going to compare, like guys who got big deals, at least in the White Sox terms, big deals.
Yeah.
But like back then, Paul Konerko was a defensive stud
Yeah.
and could hit for average and power.
Yeah.
So he was like the whole package.
Yeah.
And now you look at Pete Alonso, defensive just liability, wins home run derbies, and that's about it. And hits a lot of
I don't know.
dingers.
He was pretty good for them last year when they got to the. What was it,
Yeah,
Arnold
he was
CS?
he was pretty consistent in the playoffs, but then we all know what happened. I mean, you got to play.
I
the
will say
Dodgers.
they're happier to have him on the team than not have him on the team.
Yeah, he's a
At
glue
the
guy.
least. At the
He's like-
least. Yeah.
He's a glue guy.
He
So
is a
you-
fucking weirdo though. Every time he wins a home run derby, he like goes out and does something, and you're like, something about him gives me the heebie-jeebies. It gives me the Bryson
cringe.
DeChambeau. I get DeChambeau off
cringe.
him a little bit. Yeah,
You're
cringe.
DeChambeau. Yeah, notable cocaine guy.
DeChambeau?
Yeah,
Allegedly,
Bregman.
I don't know.
I believe that Houston retains him because, like, think
Boston
about
wants
it.
him. The Cubs want him.
Boston, Chicago. It's big market team, so either he wants to play in a big market
Detroit.
or he just.
Detroit,
Man, if he went to Detroit, that's
they were good last year. Yeah.
If they can afford it, I would say yes, but it just depends on who's going to pay more because that's the Boris way.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to pony up the most money, that's who's going to get him.
Well,
Now,
it's-
the only advantage-
eventually it's the player that chooses, but that's generally how it goes.
Sure, but the advantage Houston has is the no state income tax.
Right.
So
Where Massachusetts has
huge.
it, Michigan has it,
Chicago,
and the Illinois has it. Yeah.
Pick all the blue states, they have it.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Bregman, isn't it just easy to stay in Houston or finish out your last 5 years as a new face in a new space? Now, I could
Go to the
see
Marlins.
Boston. I could see Boston really making a pitch to go after it
Yeah.
because Boston, they have these gaps where they go all in.
Yep.
And it seems like one of those gaps where they're
They're
going all
hitting
in.
it.
They did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although the worst thing they ever did to that franchise was get rid of Mookie Betts.
Still crazy. Looking at that now, you're like, what
What did you do
how did they do that to
for
themselves?
Verdugo? Like, really?
Yeah, it didn't sit well. I think they were just waiting for the gap, but I also think they underestimated how good he was going to be for a long time.
Mookie Betts may be the most talented athlete, period, in all of baseball.
Yeah, he bowls 300s.
Bowls
he's great at
300,
bags, he
can
can
tomahawk dunk a basketball, can play shortstop, can play outfield, can hit for power, can hit for average, can steal bases. He's a 5-tool player.
He's a 5-sport player.
Exactly my point. So
Crazy.
the worst thing they ever did to that organization in Boston was get rid of him, but I digress.
Shouldn't have done it. And they're going to live to pay it because he wins with the Dodgers now. He is forever cemented as a Dodger. Probably.
Oh, he will be a Dodger for the rest of his career. There is no doubt about
I'm
it.
just saying, like, he will be remembered as a Dodger, not as a Boston Red Sox.
100%. It's sad too. But that's what you get when you want to be cheap. Now, let's talk about the biggest signing of the White Sox in over
Speaking
a
of cheap.
decade. Speaking of cheap, Michael A. Taylor is now a Chicago White Sox. Vince, your thoughts?
Okay. That's about it. What else do you want me to say? Okay.
Come on,
Chris
aren't you
Gat-
excited,
Chris-
Vince?
Chris
Get a fucking
Gat
pep
says-
in your step.
Chris Gatz said they are going to be better than they were last year. And to that I say, historically, that's going to happen. They're going to be better than last year. The fact that Chris Gatz said it, he's very good at saying something and then the opposite happening. So hammer the under. That's all I have to say about that.
It's so sad to think, like, man, all these guys, just be like the franchises that don't want to spend money. You think of like the Indians. They don't spend a lot of money on players, right? But they spend a lot of money on the A&R shit. So
Yeah.
the analytics and the data, they spend all the money on that. Same thing with Tampa. Okay. So they don't have arguably the best talent on the roster.
They develop and they draft
They
correctly.
develop and draft and use the data to their advantage.
You want to know what they don't have?
What?
Milkshakes.
They don't have milkshakes. And what's terrible about this is it's actually a fun experience to go to a White Sox game. It's
great
good for the kids, great for the family. If you've ever been to a White Sox game, it's a fun time usually. The giveaways are cool. The music nights are fun. And now they're doing ticket packages where you can go to like 40 games for like $100. It's a joke. But a part of me feels like Jerry Reinsdorf loves this. He loves to be the focus of attention in the most negative way possible. It's like the most Curb Your Enthusiasm shit ever.
Yep.
It's like, do you think he just sits in these meetings for planning and strategic planning of the White Sox?
No, he's bottom line. And if he's not getting the same margins he got last year, that he's not spending anymore, regardless of the potential in the future, he's looking at bottom line right now.
But seriously, what? They won 41 games last year?
Yep. 121
it's
and 41.
Impossible not to be better. If you win 42 games this year, that technically means you're better.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They suck, Mike. I don't know what to tell you.
They're horrible. They post all the pictures on the social medias, and it's like pitchers and catchers reported today. And I'm just like, who the fuck are these guys?
I know. I don't even know who they are. It's unbelievable. And we watch a lot of baseball, but it's just last year I think I watched one Sox game and I turned it off.
If I walked across the street to the Lou Malnati's in my front door and sat down at the bar and a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox was there, I wouldn't know who the fuck he was.
I would just assume his name was Ryan or Tanner or something.
Be like, hey, Tanner, how's your day going, pal, bud? Like, he'd be like, I'm good, man. What do you do? I think for the White Sox. Okay, cool.
Like,
have a good one.
When are you going to get called up to the bigs?
Right. It's so sad.
It is, but you know what? Who cares? They're a minor league poverty franchise, and they don't even deserve us to talk about it.
We should get Doge on the Chicago White Sox and see where the money is being spent.
Coin?
No, it's what is it? The Department of I don't know. What are they calling it? Politics
Genocide.
podcast? Politics pod?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Whoa. All right, Vince. Let's talk about
some debuts.
Let's talk about Luka's debut. How'd he do? Is he hurt already? Unlike
he
Anthony
wasn't.
Davis?
Anthony Davis is so.
That press
I had to
conference
send that to
so
you.
Juicy.
I had to send that to you right away. I was like, clearly, Anthony Davis is going to get a non-contact in his debut game with the Mavericks because that's how it happens. Now, Luka played for the Lakers, hasn't played since December 25th. He netted 24 minutes, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. That's a Luka score. They beat the Jazz considerably, which they should. On the other hand, now the Mavericks owner, Nico Harrison, is getting even more shit. People are not laying off of him. People are still mad at him, as they should be. And he's getting, he's getting roasted everywhere he goes. He went to an SMU basketball game, and he couldn't get away from it. People were looking at him, yelling at him, smiting his name. He's the most hated man in Texas, and he should be, because that was career suicide for him. Just like career suicide when he called Steph Curry Steven when he was working for Nike. He's the reason that Steph Curry didn't sign with Nike, by the way. So he's ruined
We went
two
over that last
deals. He's 2 deals. He's 2 deals of horribleness. Unbelievable.
Although the Anthony Davis debut was looking pretty promising.
He was good until he got a non-contact. Yeah.
That's what happens with him.
Which we know are the worst types of injuries, non-contact
In his
injuries.
press conference, he was just like, it's just another team that didn't believe in me and blah, blah. It's like, dude, shut up. Just shut up.
Oh, yeah. He did win a championship with them. So
he won
Is
the
it
bubble
real?
championship.
Is it
which
real?
should just
Some would say.
have an asterisk put next to it.
Always. I'm always in that camp for that bubble championship. That was some bullshit.
Yeah, bubble championship was a bubble on itself.
Jimmy G
Okay.
Buckets made
How'd he
his
do?
debut for the Warriors against the Bulls. New look Bulls. The Bulls
Too
were
many
up,
Caucasians.
The Bulls
Too
were
many
up like
Caucasians.
25 at one point in this game.
Wow.
It was wild. Warriors come back and they win it. Steph Curry's having fun with Jimmy Butler because he's not required to do everything for that team anymore, so he's probably jacked about that. Yeah, I mean, this is a great fit. As long as Jimmy Butler isn't being a prima donna baby about something, it's a great fit.
Well, Jimmy G or Jimmy G
And the
Buckets.
The G stands for gets, dude.
If he's not an absolute psychopath and a teammate when he wants to be, I think they're in good shape. So.
I agree. Now they're 10th in the East, one above the Suns, by the way. The Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker Suns aren't even in the playoffs right now.
No surprise there.
Insanely. It should be surprising. They spent a lot of money on these players. It's not working at all. Yeah, the Warriors are in the play-in right now, and they have the chance to move up there. Zach LaVine on the Kings. I have a friend. He's my Kings reporter. He's from the Sacramento area.
King Czar.
He doesn't like Zach LaVine. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because right now he can't make threes for them either, which is bad. So he's just bad at defense, can't make threes. He gets one dunk, and then everybody is like, all right, he's good again. I'm like, yeah, dude, welcome to the Zach LaVine experience. Sorry about it. That's how that goes.
It's the most Bulls thing ever. When we broke down last week all those picks that they got for Jimmy and all the things that they got for him and what
Unbelievable.
they've done is horrible.
Yeah.
It's like we could have managed it better playing 2K.
Oh, yeah.
And any GM. And it goes to show you the lack of incompetence. Like it's
Or the lack of competence.
the
rather.
lack of competence. Let me put it that way. The incompetence of these GMs. It's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
We could potentially do a better job with zero training.
AK said that they're on the path of getting somewhere. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean?
What's that song by the Talking Heads? We're on a road to nowhere.
That's what it feels like. The road goes on forever. The party never ends.
The road goes on forever and the party never ends, my friend.
Yeah. The Bulls, meanwhile, they are on the road to being bad, which is what we've been wanting for years. So that's good.
Think we're going to get
now-
a lottery pick, even though a lottery pick anymore is like every other year, and you might get some guy now from like France?
I think we will. I think Matas Buzelis is pretty good, by the way, as well. He's going to be in the dunk contest next weekend. But the Bulls played the Pistons yesterday. The Pistons, new look Pistons. Finally, all these players are playing together, and finally they're pretty good right now. I think they're 6th in the East right now behind the Bucks. 71-29 at the end of the second quarter yesterday.
Wow.
I was hanging out, or I was talking to my brother because it was his birthday, and he's like, dude, the Bulls are losing right now by 50. And I'm like, what quarter is it? He's like, halftime. And I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? That is crazy, dude.
You think
which,
Billy
again,
Donovan
is
just
good.
doesn't care? He's just like,
He
"Oh, fuck it, I
needs
don't
to
care."
be fired. I don't know why we still have him.
He wants to go back to college. Like he will go back to Florida in 2 seconds.
He could. Yeah, I mean, they're just nothing is working. Like, get rid of him. He's clearly a no defense head coach. New coaches coming in and out over and over and over again. It's working out great. Billy Donovan has never won anything in the NBA level, and he's never really coached a great team in the NBA level. If you think about it, he had like what's left of the OKC Thunder, and then he comes to the Bulls and puts together some okay teams. Like, you just don't want a guy that's going to be 500 for the rest of his career because you're just going to be stuck in purgatory forever. And that's where they are.
The Bulls are the White Sox of the NBA. And
No, they're
it's
not.
Ironic that the same guy owns them.
The Bulls are whoever slips into the playoffs every year but never does anything in the NBA.
Well, making the playoffs in the NBA is very, very broad.
The Pistons are kind of like the White Sox. But the thing is, with baseball,
But
is
the
you
Pistons, right now, Vince, the Pistons have a better trajectory to be good in the next 5 years.
Well, I was going to say the MLB like actively disincentivizes you for being the last. The Pistons got lucky because they got incentivized for being last. That's the only difference. But the Pistons have been so horrible for so long. It's just never going to be good. The Bulls, like, you just got to start making the right decisions and get there. Luckily, there's a salary cap, so everybody's got equal playing field, but puts together something.
It's not going to happen. Just next topic. So the All-Star game is going to be where, Vince?
Oakland, California.
I'm confused. The
Why?
Warriors used to be in Oakland.
I know. Supposedly everything is happening in Oakland. I don't know if it's happening actually in Oakland or if it's going to be in San Fran, but they're advertising everything as Oakland, California.
Huh. Interesting.
You will
I wonder
this year.
why.
You will get the dunk contest. You'll get the skills championship. You'll get the Rising Star game. Adam Silver forever trying to figure out how to fix this because they don't even play in the fucking game, and they had the lowest ratings they've ever had in an All-Star game. And also, mind you, every sport. Pro Bowl, worst viewership they've ever had. MLB All-Star Game's kind of
You might as
annoying
well
too.
just get rid of them. The only All-Star game, the peak of All-Star games was when they meant something. Like in baseball,
Yeah.
the game meant something. So they actually tried.
Yeah. But they're bringing back their own team's jerseys again now.
Cool.
No, that was great when they did that. I don't want the stupid All-Star
It's
jerseys.
just, I think it's just a different mode of thinking. Like these guys get their time off. If they go
Yeah,
to the
but
game, they
dude.
play, and then afterwards they got, whores on whores on whores just waiting for them. It's like, might as well just be like the Bhutan event of the year
Yeah.
next to like this waste management. And then, I don't know, EDC or some shit. It's truly like the sport Bhutan event of the year.
Okay.
Am I
yeah.
wrong?
No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. That's kind of what it feels like.
All these girls who are looking to bag a ball player go to these events.
Well, now they're always on the dude. I've been getting so many Instagram reels of just like, oh my God, Devin Booker just looked at me. It's like, no, he didn't. He's like, he's not even noticing who you are. Like, you're such a dumb idiot. I'm sick of Instagram hoes. They piss me off. I'm just trying to see cool recipes and sports highlights, and I'm getting Instagram hoes.
Christian Padroni, right?
Yeah, he's the man.
That guy, just watch all of his cooking videos.
Yeah.
You will just be salivating by the time it's over.
And musicians. I want all of that. I don't
All
want
that.
dumb hoes.
But Vince, similar to a friend of the podcast that, got caught, looking for boys for a good time, the algorithm catches on and knows what you like. So, I mean, hey,
Who got caught looking for boys for a good time?
what's that guy's name? Whitlock. Jason Whitlock.
Oh,
Remember his algo caught,
I was
you
like
know,
friend
caught
of
him
the podcast. I'm like, who the hell are we friends with? That's a pedophile. Okay, got it.
Just Jason Whitlock.
Yep.
Remember, he was like, can't believe this. It's like, well, considering they have all your data,
Yeah.
that's what you're looking for.
No,
So
I swear
maybe
to-
it's
No, the real problem is there are pages that you follow that get paid by OnlyFans
to
people to
boost
promote
whores.
off of them.
boosting whores.
One of them that I've been watching is like, you know how people do like 4 parts to one video when it could have just been one video the whole time? You know how people
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
There was one that was called like the complete video or whatever it is. And they would just clip it all together. It's like, you're not going to need a part 2. And he explained the whole thing for you. And I logged on there today, and the first thing that came up was just a hoe doing different like stances as to what's the hottest. And I look at the name of the fucking page, and it's the complete video. And I was like, this isn't the video I was looking for. I thought it was going to be like a lawn mowing simulation or some shit. It's so
you get
annoying.
caught up on lawn mowing
I
simulations.
love it, dude. Like ASMR, lawn mowing and shit. I love that stuff.
That's
or like
the
guys,
most,
the
like,
guys that build the
dad
clay
thing
houses.
you've said in a long time.
Oh yeah, the guys that build the clay houses. You ever see those?
No.
There's like dudes out in like either Africa or India or somewhere where they just go out into the wilderness and they make clay from the dirt and they build houses and like pools and shit and they just
You
plop
ever
it all together. It's sick.
you ever be scrolling, right? And you see like one of your buddies, like if I see like you like something
Oh yeah,
that's semi-controversial or some boobies.
yeah.
And I'm like, I know the type of man you are.
I don't like any boobies. I do like to see their
You're-
pages. I don't like them. I look at them, but I don't like them.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful because you don't want to be like, a horny guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, we know
because now you could see what
are,
people like.
right.
You could see what people like. You could see those things.
Yeah,
we got
a couple mutuals in our group of people that like I'll click on a page and I'll bet $5 that this guy follows them, and I see it and I'm like, call it, dude. He loves his hoes, Couple guys love their hoes. That's how it goes.
The pastor himself. All right, let's get into some Super Bowl reviews.
Yeah. The Philadelphia Eagles are your 2025 Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, go Birds! Go Birds! Somebody did it.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome game.
Recap for both of us, I would say, is exactly how we wanted it to go.
It was awesome.
It's a dream journal. I said it before. I probably will continue to say it. It's like betting against Mahomes is a death wish, usually. But every time the game comes up, I'm like, I want this to go the way that I want it to go. I bet moneyline Eagles, I won it. And the whole time I was like, I'm not going to win this. And then the minute, I would argue the game ended when Cooper DeJean had that pick six.
It was almost, you kind of knew right there. That was kind of
right. Yeah.
The momentum, you love to see it. It was the young rookie Caucasian kid's birthday, and he's a cornerback, and controversial first white cornerback since Jason Sehorn.
I know.
And it's pick six in the Super Bowl, exclamation mark, stamp it. Him and Reed Blankenship. Just that team.
Exciting whites t-shirt that they wore.
Exciting whites. Hilarious.
History lesson, 2-2 Eagles yammering for Sirianni's firing.
Yeah.
What a difference 4 months makes. I can't blame them. Philadelphia as a team, I said this, are a bunch of scumbags. Everybody in Philadelphia are scumbags, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. They're all assholes and scumbags, and that's how you should be as a fucking NFL fan.
Although, I did meet some Philly fans from Pennsylvania, from Philly.
They're nice people.
They were great, man.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, your shirt's sick. Who you rooting for today? Go Birds. I'm like,
I'm not saying they're scumbags to other people. I'm saying as fans, they're
feral.
They're salt of the earth, feral demons, and it's awesome. And that's exactly what Bears fans are when the Bears are good. It's the same thing. We're they're Chicago East, we're Philly Midwest. That's how that shit goes. So to see them win, it's great. Did you see post Super Bowl in Philadelphia? You see that?
They tore down the city.
Dude, they got a laundry truck. Did you see this? They got they got a laundry truck and took all of the towels and shit. It was one of those logistic companies for hotels. It seems like they just pulled all the towels out and they were throwing around. And then they lit a pile of them on fire, and a Philly cop tackled the dude in it, and they're all just screaming and cheering for literal arson happening in the middle of their city. The Four Seasons in Philadelphia had to pull the sign off proactively, because if someone climbed it and fell off of it, they would have died. That was a height where they would have died if they fell off. Grease the poles. I love it, dude. It was, and we're not Cubs fans, but it was similar to when the Cubs won, where chaos was everywhere. I was pouring wine on people off of my fucking balcony. It was pandemonium. It's so fun.
Well, I just don't understand what our human nature is when our sports teams win championships. It's we go true ritualistic craziness. We want to see shit get burned, but it's in a good way. We were
talking about this on UR this week, where when the Blackhawks won, they lit a car on fire.
It's just why not? Just fuck it, fire. They should. If the city was smart, they would just allow everybody. It's all right, burn piles across the city. You guys can light these specific things on fire.
Yeah.
Be good boys. Don't light any cars.
It's the purge, no murder.
It's kind of purge, no murder. Yeah, it is. But then somebody did in fact die, right?
That's
that night.
That
somebody
might happen.
brought out and I also saw another video. Some guy brought out a pistol.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus
fireworks.
Christ.
Yeah, legit. Some guy, I saw this
Come
on the
on.
internet, came out, well, boom, like put 2 in the air. He had like a Glock 9, just put 2 in the air just for
Why?
It's insane.
That's so unnecessary.
It's absolutely
that
bananas.
land?
We don't know.
I saw one too where they had like the mortar fireworks that like blow up, and
Oh,
they
the
lit
best.
it and it fell down and just shot into the crowd. I was like, holy fuck, dude, it's crazy. Like, it's watching it from the outside, it's wild. I'm sure it was like, it's the same thing. Like, if the Bears were to win a Super Bowl, this city will
Would burn down.
likely
It'd be
have
burned to the ground.
there will be like weeks of cleanup for that.
I will gladly come back to Chicago.
Oh, if the Bears were the
The
Super Bowl,
night
you are
We
living
will
with,
be
you're
in
living
full
with
of-
me for a week.
It'll be a
Or
very
we're going
drunk
to the
week.
Super Bowl. One or the other.
Taxi squad at the Super Bowl, catch us there.
Yeah.
I would pay good money to do that. I would do some weird things to do that.
We will get in the game for a moment, but did you see what was happening at New Orleans? Were you tracking what was going on throughout the week?
Throughout the week, not so much. It was just like
it seems like the best. First off, oyster recall. You hear about that?
Oyster recall?
Yeah, they
How
had
can
a
you recall oysters.
They had like a not like a recall,
ocean.
but more of like a, what do you call it when like something that has like issues with it, and they're like, hey,
contaminated?
There was something going on with the oysters to the point where like media personalities were getting food poisoning. Jalen Carter had midweek food poisoning. Like, some of the Eagles, didn't matter. Some of the Eagles had food poisoning because of the oysters in New Orleans.
Goes to show you got to be careful what shellfish you eat.
I
But I
guess so.
did not hear the oyster recall.
Casino
That's
going crazy. Casino made a crazy amount of money. People playing blackjack, roulette, all that shit going on there. Bourbon Street was crazy. John Summit did a show off of a balcony in the middle of Bourbon Street. Like,
sick.
I
would have been
nothing-
there fucking discotheque raving.
Yeah. I have nothing
Fist
but
bump.
positive things to say about New Orleans as a visitor. Like, granted,
Never been. I would love to go.
You've never been to New Orleans.
I wanted to go for my bachelor party, Vince, but the boys, I got ixnayed on that real fast. Not saying
Should
Boston
have talked to
didn't.
me.
I know,
Talk
but
to me.
Boston
Great.
was a great trip.
Wonderful. Good time.
One for the books.
I've been to New Orleans 2 times in my life. One as an underage lad, which is very cool historically to go see things. And then one as a newly 21-year-old, way better experience. There's a lot of history to it outside of all of that stuff. But as far as like hosting an event, I went the first time during the national championship that was there, which was very cool as well. But I will say it is the best place, one of the best places to have a massive event like that. Obviously, fuck that terrorist guy that ran into everybody. That was brutal, and they should have done a moment of silence, and they did, and that was very important. But it's like the way that it's set up, everything is walkable, everything's in the right area, and you can kind of like see people that you want to see and do all this stuff. Now, the hotel was also too close to everybody. So the whole, both teams couldn't leave the hotel to the point where the hotel made a deal with them where they served the food from the hotel and you couldn't order out from anywhere else except for the hotel without a surcharge on top of it for like pizza. It was like, supposedly is what I heard, $8 per pizza if you want to order pizzas.
That's insane.
I know.
Well, this is what happens in a smaller city, I guess you could say, because it's from what it's very close knit, very haunted city below sea level.
Oh yeah,
Trina.
Voodoo, baby.
Voodoo shit going on there. But overall, Vince, this game was not close. A lot of people who like a close game, we usually do, but just due to the fact that we were so sick and tired of the Chiefs.
Dude, yeah.
Winning, you love to see the 44-22.
Did you get bored at all?
Did I get bored?
Of the game?
I was bored with a smile on my face.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. I was bored with a big old smile on my face. I was just like 40-22 by the end of the fourth quarter.
It wasn't
and
even
I was still winning money.
It wasn't even 40-22 though.
I know.
It was 36-6 is really what it was. And then garbage time touchdowns.
The Chiefs amassed a total in the first half of like 30 yards of offense.
No. Less points than the fucking, or less yards than the Eagles had points.
It was bananas.
It was
that defense showed out.
It was 24, and I think the Chiefs had 23 yards of total offense in the first half. It was crazy. It was like, okay, so the reason I asked is because a lot of people were like, that was a boring game. And a lot of people watch the Super Bowl that don't watch football the rest of the year, for sure. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, what else is going to happen? Like, I couldn't believe it. It was like watching like a car crash. I was like, this is something that you never expect to see. What else is going to happen? And like, obviously, I tell you that Saquon gets, how many yards did he get in the game? Like under 50?
Yeah, he got really bogged down, which everybody thought was going to be a key to the
57.
game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I tell you that Saquon Barkley has 57 yards in the Super Bowl. You're like, the Chiefs won by 2 touchdowns?
It's insane to me that Jalen Hurts has more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley and more rushing touchdowns, which is in itself insane.
119 QBR for the game. Jalen Hurts
deserves his MVP.
As questionable as he is throughout the regular season, is a big game player. Because he played better than Mahomes in the first Super Bowl. They just ended up losing.
When you look at his body of work from his time at Alabama, playing in 2 national championships,
benched for Tua
in one of them, and then getting benched for Tua, and now at the next level, losing a Super Bowl based off of a really egregious call towards the end of a very close game on a really shitty field played here in the desert. He's gone through a lot, and to see him at the top of the mountaintop, it's wonderful. He's a very humble guy.
You can't be happier for one guy in that game.
I agree. And Saquon, I mean, it's also like a Cinderella story. This whole team, really. Saquon's originally from Pennsylvania or Jersey, played at Penn State, now is on the Philadelphia Eagles, wins a Super Bowl. It's like you can't write it better.
Dude, I've been getting into Eagles. I'm on Eagles everything right now. My entire Instagram is Eagles. My entire TikTok's Eagle. So I saw a video where it was like his daughter called him. So he has 2 daughters, I think. One of them is old enough to know what's going on. She, when he signed with the Eagles, was just like, are you going to win? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hopefully we are now in that video. And then there was a call to him before the Super Bowl that was like, I hope you win, and if you don't, it's okay. We still love you. All this shit, and then it cut to the end of it when he's holding her, and she's like, "You won the Super Bowl," and he's like, "I won the Super Bowl," and I was like, "Dude, I'm about to cry. This is insane."
Well, the kids make it special for sure, and for Saquon, you love to see him put an exclamation point on the end of this year, and that team. They scored like 100 points or 90 plus points in 2 games.
Yeah. Dude,
95 points. 95 points in 2 games.
Is it?
I mean, that in itself is bananas.
I mean, I want to talk about Howie Roseman in a second, but worth it to not give him the record for sure.
100%. He was
a lot of people
healthy.
were like, should he have gotten the record? Is it important for him to get the record? They won the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter if he has a record now.
Sirianni did a wonderful job. Kellen Moore, they brought him in to revamp the offense. Now he's going to the Saints, getting a head coaching job. Vic Fangio. Good for Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Nobody understands this, but Vic Fangio was on the Bears when they went to the playoffs, got his head coaching opportunity, didn't do much with it. Yep. Notably, has always been a tremendous defensive coordinator.
Kind of like Spagnuolo.
Kind of like a Steve Spagnuolo. Yeah, you could say that. But just a guy who knows what he's doing. And I don't understand what it is with these grease balls that play in defensive coordinator. They're really good at their job. Yeah. And I think the advantage that nobody was talking about was Vic Fangio was the Bears defensive coordinator.
I want to make that clear.
Fangio was the DC for the Bears in 2018 when they went to the playoff round,
when they had the best defense in the league. Yeah.
Correct. When they had the best defense in the league, Khalil Mack and all these dogs. And Who was the head coach?
Do you know how many times they blitzed in the game?
No.
0. They didn't run one blitz package the entire time. Pat Mahomes got sacked 7 times or 6 times. They rushed
Go
3 or
Chug.
4 the entire game. And the thing is like, and I've heard this, and I don't know this, I haven't been a quarterback and all of that. This is armchair coaching shit through and
This
through.
is Taxi Squad Podcast coach.
This is what happens. A good quarterback gets rushed based on a good pass rush. And if there's
That's how
nobody to
that
throw to because their defensive backs are playing insane and all their linebackers drop back in coverage and they can rush 4 and get to the quarterback the whole time, what is he supposed to do? And that's exactly what we saw. He threw 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions in that game. Best quarterback, 2 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Best quarterback in the league.
Arguably.
So, right, and you can make that, but as far as like Super Bowl
2
wins,
games,
you can't argue that.
2 Super Bowls in a row. Jalen Hurts has outperformed him. So Tom Brady,
2 Super Bowls in a row for Jalen Hurts.
well,
Not
meaning
Mahomes. I want to make
playing
that
against
clear.
Mahomes in 2
Yeah.
Super Bowls. Jalen
Mahomes
Hurts
won 2.
outperformed him statistically.
He won
QBR.
2 before. Yeah, that's
Correct. I understand that.
You have to give him that caveat.
Tom Brady, meanwhile, is in the press box getting all the questions. Who's the GOAT? Who's this? And Tom's just like, yep, this is how we dial it up against them, and it worked, and blah, blah, blah. So, Tom was in his lore of like, yeah, I'm still the GOAT. Fuck you.
Yeah, story's not over yet, but this is a good stamp for him, for sure, where it's like the 3 in a row. Like, I think New England might be happier than Philly right now.
I don't know about all that.
They might be, because I've been hearing a lot of Patriots fans like, told you, I told you.
I just will
told you."
say Howie Roseman just deserves a GM award because
Yeah.
the guy has now created the archetype and structure of how you build a team.
Yeah. Do you want me to go down the list really quick of what he did this offseason?
Sure.
Hired Vic, as we said. Drafted
Vic.
Quinyon Mitchell. What a get. Drafted Cooper DeJean. Birthday, pick 6. First touchdown in the NFL. First interception in the NFL. Pick 6.
Also wore his high school Letterman jacket on the way into the game, which I
Yep.
thought was awesome.
Signed Zach Bond. Signed CJ Gardner-Johnson. Sorry about your mom. That really sad. Hired Kellen Moore, who's now a head coach again. So the Eagles lose their coordinators again. Signed Saquon. Signed Mekhi Becton, which, mind you, was a reformation project from the Jets. And he played his ass off. The statistic of the size of the Eagles' offensive line versus like the first Super Bowl, I think like the average weight was 265 in the first Super Bowl, and the Eagles were like 340 or something like that. That's their average size of an offensive line.
Also, don't forget that he also drafted Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
when you look at
all
that,
of Georgia, all of
Georgia's on
other
this
side.
defense.
Yeah.
It's truly insane to me how many Georgia players are on that defense because Jalen Carter the year
Josh
before.
Sweat went crazy in that game. That line was unbelievable in that game. Chris Jones injured. Something was going on. He couldn't get
It looked like
anywhere.
a non-contact knee injury to Chris Jones, and that's kind of sad because now it's like if we're going to divert focus to the other side of the ball, what are the Chiefs going to do? They got a lot of expiring contracts. Travis Kelce was not a factor in this game whatsoever.
No, he's maybe
got to be done.
Maybe
It's gotta be
revisionist
done.
history. Maybe it's like
What was he wearing, by the way? He looked like a Ron Jeremy wannabe.
dude. No,
Like
he's
he looked like a
swagging.
Bee Gees on tour. Like I'm gonna walk into this game, but what's kind of funny / sad is to watch him walk out of the building.
He looked
to
so
watch him-
cool, dude. What do you mean?
Yeah, but to watch him walk out of the building after losing the Super Bowl with his
Yeah.
head down, looking like a fucking sad BG, was
You
the
see-
funniest shit I've seen in a minute.
You see what Pat wore?
No.
A full green suit. He wore
boy.
Eagles green suit to the Super Bowl.
Well, there you
I-
get. If you're gonna troll,
I respect the troll. I respect the troll, but also like good. This was the best case scenario. We both All right. First off, apologies on the heads call. It's right 50% of the time. That's all I'm gonna
are we
say
talking
real quick.
about our bets?
I think we
Ooh.
should a little bit. Apologies on the heads call. It's right 50% of the time. The other 50% you're wrong. Every now and then, tails comes around. Tails sometimes fails. That's always a fake. Lost that. I lost the Gatorade color. It was lime again. Unbelievable. Outside of that, clean sheet. Clean sheet for your boy.
I had my far-fetched props of guy to throw a touchdown, offensive lineman catch a touchdown pass, some player other than a quarterback. There wasn't much
Not necessary.
necessary need to go outside the script.
Can I thank
But-
you really quick? Can I thank you?
Yeah.
You made me some money this weekend, Mike.
Yeah, I know I did. And I hope you guys rode with me.
I was a hater. I was a hater on the D-Hop catch. And then we were watching the game as it goes, and I was like, DeAndre Hopkins isn't scoring a touchdown. They can't do shit. But I put it in because I was like, I ride with my boy. I die with my boy. I got to stick with him. Garbage time DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. I literally
It was 6-1.
I was with my brother. I was like, holy fuck, Mike was right. Holy fuck, Mike was right. I think I put like $10 on it. I think I made like $60 on it.
That's the point. And I
What a
kept
play,
saying
Mike. What a play,
last
dude.
episode, I kept looking at the lines and I'm like, all right, who's insanely low in their lines and their props? I found 2 things, now 3 things. I'm like, it's DeAndre Hopkins' first Super Bowl, potentially his last, maybe his last.
I think it will be.
He was also quoted in saying, well, what are you going to say about the refs now? It's like, dog, you lost by 20. Just
Yeah, but that's coping. He's going through
that's fair.
You can't
that's fair.
say that. Yeah.
His over-under on receptions was 1.5, had 3 receptions.
Yep.
His over-under on receiving yards was 11.5, had 18.
Yep.
Hit the over on both of those, parlayed those. Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Touchdown, 600, plus 600 or 6-1 odds.
I think I got 480 at game time. But
And
still.
I also bet Devontae Smith to score a touchdown on the last minute. Just
There you
feeling
go.
in my gut.
There you go.
Because I also read a stat that no Alabama wide receiver or offensive talent has ever scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Crazy, right? That
Insane.
was I read that too. That was a crazy stat. Because
And I was
this
like,
is also
he's got to score.
This is the first Super Bowl in I think 7 or 8 of them that an LSU player hasn't scored a touchdown.
I went bullish on the people you're not thinking about, and I'll do it again. $120 won on the Super Bowl. What are you gonna do?
Only problem with that now is you're too confident. I'm scared.
No. That's now you cash out the chips and you wait till next year.
Yeah,
because I really only bet.
I took the LeBron over the next night because I was feeling good. And he scored 24 points and it was at 24.5. So I was like, all right, we're back to earth again.
No, see, I don't really bet on anything that I'm not truly confident I'm betting.
I was confident that LeBron was going to make a statement with Luka on his team, and then they were up 30 and they pulled him for the rest of the game.
Here's an easy thing to do. If you want to just make money, bet the White Sox to lose in any event, and you're probably going to make some money.
Now it's going to be like minus 250 every game for them.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, right. I digress. But no, Mikey Betts could be a new topic for next year. So stay.
I think someone has that identity, but we can steal it from him. Who cares?
Yeah, we're taking it from him. We're taking it from him. Now, Vince, we talked about our key takeaways of the game.
Yeah.
It was a runaway. Now, the halftime show.
Yeah.
Kind of made no sense.
Divisive.
And here's why I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Yes, divisive. Yes. A hater Super Bowl halftime show, one could say. What I didn't understand is in the Super Bowl commercials, they have these stop hate commercials.
Bro, that's what I was going to say.
And Tom Brady swearing at each other. And then the halftime show starts, and it was literally just like 30 minutes of Kendrick Lamar ripping Drake in front of the entire country off of an album that was solely predicated on the fact of hating one person and one record label.
Good album,
and then great album, won 4 fucking Grammys, right? Yeah. Okay, and then you have Samuel Jackson. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody tell him to go get his uncle right now. It's your uncle." Sam.
That
And
was
okay, so that was cool. And then the stage looked like a PS5 controller. And then
With
he was
Serena Williams with the tennis skirt, who
and
used to date
SZA.
Drake.
SZA also dated Drake.
Yeah.
What was also interesting, and I did some homework on this tinfoil hat moment.
Oh God, here we go.
So Kendrick didn't perform any of his songs outside of his label that he is now on.
Right.
When he was
TDE,
originally a part of TDE, right? So TDE was his new label, and he makes 80% of whatever the shares are of his plays and all that. So the conspiracy is that he played all of his new songs because he owns them, essentially.
And on Damn, yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing from Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly, which made me sad.
It made a lot of us sad who knows the genre of hip hop, because I wanted to hear some of that stuff. Fuck, play Section 8.
We gon' be all right. Dude, can you imagine? Oh, come on, dude. Yeah. King Kunta, come on, dude. I wanted it.
But Section 80, because if you could hear that, I wrote this record with 30,000 feet in the air. Like, come on, it'd be amazing if you opened up the Super Bowl with that. Now, it would be the OGs who knows
does make sense. That does make sense for sure.
Right? Just saying. But he did it for
royalties.
Also, the song Peekaboo, which a lot of people, if you listen to the lyrics, it hypothesizes somebody put a hit out on Triple X Tentacion, who passed a few years ago now in a very sad situation. And allegedly the thought process is that Drake's crew maybe put a hit out on him.
Yeah.
Now, Peekaboo, the song, when he performed it, there's a PlayStation controller as the stage. He was in the X of the PlayStation controller when he performed that song.
Marks the spot.
Interesting.
X marks the spot.
And I don't know. For me, you could have played a lot more of your hits, and in your opportunity to play your hits in front of the country.
Yeah. I mean, he did it as much as it was a Drake hate time, it was a political stance time, which, you know, it depends on what you're looking at a Super Bowl. I said this when it happened. I continue to have this opinion. I'm looking for entertainment in that, to argue that it wasn't as entertaining because he was doing something that he wanted to do. The revolution's televised. You picked the right time with the wrong guy. All of that. I get it. Probably not for us at the end of the day. A lot of people were just like, that was the best thing I've ever seen. If you're white, you're wrong about it. Fuck you. Everybody else is watching it with you. Don't need any of that stuff. I don't even think we need to talk about that stuff. It was it was mid, in my opinion. I love him.
Too.
I love him. I'm very much a Kendrick Lamar fan. I think that shit plays heavy in a tour. If I were to see him at his own show and he did that, I'd be fuck yeah, let's go. It was whatever. At the end of it, I was like, all right, I can't really defend the guy. Like, it is what it is. And I understand what he was going for. And I think he probably portrayed that message properly. But at the end of the day, he had shit that I would have rather heard if I'm trying to just bang off and that's what it.
I just think about what it could have been if you brought out Juvenile, Manny Fresh, and Lil Wayne out in the middle of New Orleans.
Did you see Lil Wayne at AEW though?
No.
I don't think you want to see Lil Wayne.
Is it that bad?
He's not doing good. He's not doing good, dude.
It's not good.
I wish they would have done Lil Wayne at the first Super Bowl in New Orleans instead of this one. That's kind of where I landed on it. I was like, okay, I kind of understand.
Wow.
Because I guess they didn't even give him an opportunity to do it. And I would have loved to see Lil Wayne be the headliner.
Is all the lean and weed not paying off?
I think something is affecting the man at this point. So I get why that didn't happen. And they've been doing, and we were talking about this too, they've been doing a new old thing. And I think they're going to next year really lean on the old legacy artist thing, where they're not going to come out and do a full political stance on last year's presidential campaign. I would put money on the Foo Fighters, Metallica again next year.
I was about to say, I think it's going to be like Pearl Jam and the Foo Fighters next year.
Yeah.
Or Taylor, just to really play into it all.
No way, dude. There would be so much negative backlash to Taylor Swift doing it.
Yeah, kind of bought and paid for.
Yeah.
Just give me Dua Lipa. Just give me Dua Lipa.
I would love that. I would love that. I love her. I saw her live one time, and I think I cried and peed myself. And
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and other things. I think all bodily functions would happen if I saw
She's
Dua Lipa
beautiful.
live.
I love her.
Oh,
I love
amazing.
her.
She's amazing. The woman's amazing in so many ways.
I agree.
It's truly fascinating.
But
But
see, the
halftime show-
Duolingo owl died.
What?
There's, dude, yeah. I don't know why. A couple things happened this week where it was like wild shit. The Duolingo, you know, like the app to learn new languages. For some reason, they tweeted that the owl for Duolingo died.
Isn't it animated?
Yeah.
But how did it die?
That's the whole thing. How is he dead? How did it happen? And now their profile picture is like a picture of the owl with X's on his eyes because he's dead. And they haven't like said anything about it since then. So I'm trying to figure out why that's happening.
Maybe they're going through a rebranding.
I don't know, but I do. They have been going crazy on Twitter recently, so you kind of got to appreciate it.
You want to know of a new favorite band that has a parakeet as the lead singer? It's a new metal band by the name of Hatebeak.
Okay.
And Hatebeak, like the beak of a bird, is a full-blown, heavy, hardcore metal band with a parakeet as their lead singer. I cannot make this shit up.
Good?
No.
Okay.
I sent it to other Vince, co-friend Vince. If you call them Vinny, they both turn their heads and they get mad at me.
If you call me Vinny and you don't know me like that. That's where
you don't know me like that. But see,
Yeah.
the funny part is I know the both of them. And my name is Mike. And every asshole on earth is named Mike. So I just laugh because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
So other Vinny is quite the Slayer / heavy hardcore rock guy.
Yep.
And I sent this to him and he texted me today. He said, "What the fuck are you doing to me?"
Yeah.
So there you go.
Welcome to Parakeet Nation. They said, in lieu of flowers, please do a Duolingo lesson. That was their last tweet. So.
Oh, it's a marketing ploy.
Rest in peace to Duo, Kishana, Renee, Lingo, Duo the Owl. Born 1000 BC, dead 2025 AD. Okay.
All right, let's talk about the Bears, shall we?
Yeah, that's what we got to end it with. But quite an NFL season.
Quite a season.
Another season where we make our picks in the Super Bowl and we are totally fucking wrong about them. So let's see if we can
this year we're right. Yeah, next year we're going to do it right. Mike, of course, won the season.
He did.
So thanks for tuning in. Roll with me. 2 years in a row? Am I 2 years or 3 years now?
You're 2 years in a row. I won the first one.
That's right.
And then before that, we started the middle of the NFL season, so we didn't.
That doesn't count.
So no.
So Vince, let's before we get into any sort of Bears corner, small and very sad. Virginia McCaskey passed away, and Vince missed his mark in forever. Yeah, getting the opportunity to be her sugar baby.
I was about that shit.
I've been saying for years, Vince, you need to become her sugar baby somehow.
Yeah.
Originally from Des Plaines area. There's a lot of things right now, demand planning. Now the family gets the franchise, but there's a lot of tax issues going on here.
Yeah.
A lot of people are speculating that the Bears might want to sell the franchise depending on all the tax implications that go along with now.
It's the same as the Al Davis and Mark Davis situation. So
there's a lot of things here, right? So there's a lot of nepotism in the air, and a lot of people are saying that the Bears could be valued anywhere between $6 to $10 billion.
Obviously.
And most recently in the news, in the pre-Super Bowl fun, the Pat McAfee show had on Ari Emanuel, famously a super agent in Hollywood, also owns one of the largest agencies in Hollywood. In the very famous show Entourage in the early mid-2000s. Yes, Chicago-born. Ari Gold is actually fully portrayed as Ari Emanuel in real life. So the character of Ari Gold is based off Ari Emanuel.
Yeah.
Now, Ari Emanuel's brother, Rahm Emanuel, is most famously known as the mayor of Chicago for 2 terms.
Most impossible job of all time.
Most impossible job of all time. You cannot do a good job unless your last name is Daly.
No, he
But
sold the fucking parking meters. He's an idiot
dude,
too.
they're all corrupt. They're all
suck.
corrupt.
They're all
corrupt. They're all
suck.
corrupt. They're all on the
suck.
take.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah.
I will say this. There is a potential murmur out on the street right now and in local trade rags that Ari Emanuel on the Pat McAfee show was a guest and brought up the fact, do you think they'll sell? And people were looking at him like, why would you ask that question, billionaire?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, just curious to know what you guys thought, because, I mean, a lot of tax implications are going on there. Just wanted to get everybody's opinion in the NFL, thinking if they'd sell. So there could be smoke where there is fire.
Bezos.
Do you think the Bears would sell?
They should. They don't have any money outside of the ownership of the franchise, which means that all of their money they can't liquidate until they sell their assets.
Hey.
Their only asset is the Bears.
Hey, George coaches Little League soccer games.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Sell the team, please. We've been saying it for years. They're at a point. Rest in peace, Virginia.
Rest in peace, Virginia.
Like we're in a new.
George,
let's look at what's happened to teams that sell. What's the most recent team that sold, Mike?
The Washington Commanders / Redskins.
What did they do this year?
They were in the game before the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Let's try to do that.
And now there's talks that they're going to keep the Commander name due to Jaden Daniels' performance because now people are all on board.
Yeah, they weren't going to change it back. That was your weird old man hope that was going to happen. It was never going to happen.
Shut up. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Yeah, it was.
No.
But
I'm writing an executive order that the Commanders are going to be now the Redskins again. The Guardians gone. Indians back. Give me a shit-eating grin on a head. Okay. But it's interesting. I think if Ari Emanuel could get a buying group together, because he can't just drop $8 billion, but it could be something like how Magic was going around getting all these billionaire playboys together.
Please.
Think about it. It could be cool.
Please do it. Just be willing to spend money and do what's right and treat the team as a business as it is. Treat a team as a passion project, not as we got to hit the bottom line or we're going to go bankrupt as a fucking family. Because this was owned by George Halas, the patriarch of the NFL, passed down to his daughter.
For $1,600 in 1925.
Passed down to his daughter, and now we're in a situation. There's been 2 owners of this. Reality, 1 family has owned this. Come on. This is one of the staple of the NFL, the Bears are. Let's make them good again. How about that?
Make the Bears great again.
We're not making hats. We're not making hats.
Now, speaking of spending money, there is a lot of talks going on right now after the Super Bowl ends. We know the rumor mill is hot. So, a lot of people are saying Cowboys are potentially open to looking at trading Micah Parsons and not necessarily signing him. Now, this could just be posturing by the Jerry Jones saga, because if they're not in the news, this is how he keeps them relevant. A lot of people are saying that Micah Parsons may be a trade target for the Chicago Bears on a sign and trade sort of deal.
Yeah.
What's the cost of that?
Khalil Mack, probably.
So you're thinking 2 first rounders, the house. But you got to remember, he's 25 years old, going to be 26.
Yeah, I think we got Khalil Mack at 28, 27.
It's worth it. Yeah, we almost went to a Super
worked
Bowl.
out, but you have to look at it in 2 ways. We have a lot of spots that need to be filled. We have a lot of cap room. Cap room goes away quickly when you sign a lot of guys. So you get Micah Parsons, you're going to have him for the long run. I would be cool with that. But also, we need an offensive line, and we need a defensive line. And he's going to play probably outside linebacker, a little bit of edge action. But, I would like to fill both lines, too, at the same time. I would like to get Myles Garrett, too, but he's getting a little bit older, too. It's the same trade. It's the same thing.
I see it in 2 ways. You're probably going to have to give up similar compensation to get one of
two first start the conversation.
Or Myles. Yeah, that's barrier of entry.
Yeah.
And both of these guys seem to be open to going to a contender. They want to win a Super Bowl. That's always the play.
And that's not what we are right now. Looking at it,
nor are the
honestly.
Cowboys. The Cowboys are tanking for Arch. I think
Yeah.
that's a real thing because Dak is pretty much Dak. And
He said that they're just about the Eagles. I don't know if you saw that yesterday.
Oh, dear God.
Idiot. What are we doing here?
Didn't that get on ESPN and Jason Whitlock? Or no, not Whitlock, but was one of the other ones. Marcus Spears was talking about it.
And he was
just like,
he was arguing it, and then people were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because what are you talking about? There was when Dak Prescott got injured and was out for the season, he was like, "We suck so bad." That was his last thing. And now they have Brian Schottenheimer running the team. Their defense is going to be better because Eberflus is a decent DC, but that's about it.
Eberflus is in, man. I am so just done with ESPN. It is so stupid. It's just so baiting to just, well, are the Cowboys on the are they a few pieces away of competing with the Eagles in the NFC? Just shut up.
I can't take Stephen A. Smith anymore. I can't take the shows that they run. You want to know what I like? I like Scott Van Pelt doing SportsCenter.
Still like that guy.
PTI I'll like forever because it's the same show essentially.
Susie Colbert. Gotta love Susie Colbert in any fashion.
Outside of that, you know, like their NBA coverage, like their announcers are great, but then you go to halftime and then Malika Andrews saying some dumb shit to other people. Like it's just agonizing when you watch it because it's like you go to it and they don't talk about the game, they talk about the storyline. So it was like, you think Luka likes the shoes that LeBron's wearing, and I'm like, I know this is going to get you clicks. What we're talking about. I know this is going to get you clicks, but it's hard to watch as a fan of a game.
It's fully Disney. I see it two ways back to the Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett thing. Is there value in going to get a guy like that? Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, we are not there. There's too many glaring holes as an organization, being the Chicago Bears, that you need a full-blown offensive line. Like, you could go into this year's draft and just draft offensive line.
And a D-line.
Well, yeah. You could, I'm just saying.
Trenches, both sides.
Look at the prototype and what just won the Super Bowl. Just write that down and copy and paste it.
Did they sign guys to be on the line? No, not really.
No, they drafted a lot of them.
Yeah.
And a reclamation project in Mekhi Becton. But you know what the difference is between those two organizations, Vince?
Lane Johnson.
No. One builds and grooms talent to be the best of the possibly could be.
They have older guys that can take care of a dude like that and tell him how to do it properly. Yeah. They had Kelsey before that. Like, we need to build something that's going to continually feed itself. This isn't Madden. Braxton Jones isn't going to be a 90 in 2 years. It's not Madden, dude. We got to figure this shit out. Yeah.
It's not Madden. Well, you see the coaching choices that the Bears have gone out and sought out. And it seems to be moving towards that direction of they're spending money, they're waking up, they're seeing what works, and joining in the modern NFL. And I don't know how much of that is Kevin Warren, who, hey.
He's worried about sweets.
He picks out those sweet seats better than anybody.
Should we have swivel bar stools up there? Like, why is he
I'm not a big fan of those because you couldn't see from the optics level. It's like, wow, this guy knows his shit.
That's fine.
No,
keep him on that. Keep him on that. I like where they're going with it, but
and then you listen to Chicago radio.
Yeah.
And you get these sentences. Feel like you should really consider looking at trading Caleb this year because you got the opportunity. You got the guy. His value is highest now. It's like, dude, what? Just
it's clickbait again.
What goes through your brain? That is. But no, these are just everyday Chicago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But also, like they're they'll run that one.
The closest thing that resembles.
They'll get 100 calls, and then they're going to pick the guy that says we should trade Caleb Williams because then they can just roast him for an hour. Because you're like, what are we even talking about? I saw a feed the other day that went nuclear that was like, this is what I'm saying. Justin Fields on a good team can do it properly. And I'm like, holy shit, we're still talking about this? What are we doing? He backed up Russell Wilson last year.
We're going to talk here as the free agency market starts to pan out in the next couple of weeks. I'd like to do some predictions of where quarterbacks are going to go. So keep that
Yeah.
in the back of your brain.
We got time.
But speaking of free agency, the biggest target everybody's saying is Trey Smith.
Yeah.
Who is most notably the left guard on the Kansas City
We
Chiefs.
should have asked him last Tuesday. That was a great time to ask him, CHGO. What are we doing?
Had the best PFF grade in the Super Bowl for offensive linemen on the Chiefs. Not saying that's a good thing.
It didn't go well for him.
But he got the best grade.
Yeah.
Which, just saying, that's a good thing. And didn't play very great in the playoffs.
Pretty
so,
as shit in the toilet. Yeah.
You kind of looking, you're kind of, we've seen this before, Nate Davis. But do you think it's just fully signed, sealed, and delivered? The Bears are going to go throw as much money as they can at this guy.
He's the best offensive lineman available.
So you go get him.
Correct?
Because
Correct
you can't
or
draft
incorrect?
him, right? You can't draft him.
You
So-
need more than one.
Yeah, you do.
It depends on what the price is going to be, but you pay that guy. You just do it.
Okay. Just bucket, all balls, go after him.
Yeah, because if you're worried about what's going to happen and then you don't sign him and he's good somewhere else, then everybody's going to hate on you to do it. Sign him, take care of business, do it properly, and if he doesn't work out, then at least we tried.
I've also seen some mock drafts come out recently.
Okay.
Everybody's pretty much full bore, and this is without bringing trades into this. Titans are either going to trade out or take Travis Hunter. That seems to be the play because they have so many.
Where are they
glaring
at? 3, 4?
I thought, aren't they
They might
one?
be at 2. No, I thought that. Are they 1?
I swear to God, the Titans are one.
I haven't
Browns
looked at
2.
I haven't looked at mock drafts.
Yeah, no, Titans are 1, babe.
Oh, they did
Titans
move
are
up to 1,
sitting
huh?
pretty at 1. Browns
Okay.
2.
Why would
right?
they
And
take
everybody's-
Travis?
It's interesting.
A
So they could
corner
just be
at 1?
posturing. Saying, why wouldn't you say, you know what, we're done with the Will Levis experiment. We're going to go full bore in on Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders and
Dude,
try and
when's
get
the
somebody
last-
to trade up.
When's the last time a cornerback went 1 overall?
I
Ever?
don't know. But he's different. He's hybrid. I could see Travis Hunter falling in the draft. I'm
I
just going to
could-
put that out here right now.
Falling to 7.
Just saying, falling, not being the first
Not
pick taken.
to. He's going to be top. I'm looking at one right now. It's like if they don't take Cam Ward, they'll take Abdul Carter. Edge rusher.
I see this going a couple different ways. Now, for the Bears, I've seen 2 different mocks. The Ashton Jenny thing, write it off. That's just dumb.
I don't
if
think
the
they're going
Bears
to do
take
it,
Ashton
but a lot
Jenny
of
at
people
10,
want it.
I will punch myself in the face. Let's just put it that way. It'll be like when
Yeah.
the Bears drafted Trubisky and it was screaming in the living room, who, why, what, who, how.
When they drafted
I am-
Darnell Wright, we were like, "Who is that?" It's like I don't know. He
Who the
looks
fuck
big.
is that
He
guy?
looks big. He looks big.
He looks big and he got great grades. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, safest option. Now, this could be on the same realm of safe option,
Yeah.
but one of the highest graded offensive linemen in the draft right now is a guy by the name of
Texas?
Calvin Banks,
Done.
Texas.
Do it.
Prototype, people are saying he looks like a guard. He plays or left tackle.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Will Campbell
this
will
stage of
not
the
be
game-
available. If you're going to pick anybody else besides Will Campbell, you're going to pick Kelvin Banks.
So Will Campbell, though, is a glass eater, which I like.
Yeah.
And he could very well fall.
He's not going to. He's going to be a Patriot. If
You think he's going to be a Patriot?
I'm almost confident they're going to draft him. Because what's their best asset right now?
Yeah, they got Drake May.
Yeah. Protect him.
Either way, I'm cool with the Bears just going full bore, offensive line, first 2 picks. Go get it. I heard a interesting take today
Okay.
that a center is more valuable than an edge rusher. So
How?
a Pro Bowl center
Well,
is more valuable than an edge rusher on defense.
I agree. I agree with that
I don't know.
in
if
a
I agree.
way that is so draft value. No, never, ever is the case. Having a good, consistent center for a long time is good as a quarterback. Like if you're a quarterback and you have your own center, you guys are 1-2. Value, if you're talking about like tradable value or draft value, never and ever has ever been the case. You don't have to have the most athletic, like crazy guy. You got to draft for a mind, and you can get that in 4th round. Like it's not the case.
Olin Kreutz, most notably, 3rd round draft pick. Just saying.
Olin
Best
Kreutz
Bears
is
center
very important
ever.
and very valuable, and they wouldn't get rid of him, but like he's not. Depends on what you consider value at the end of the day.
Olin Kreutz will go down as a Hall of Fame center, but once again, what's the
Hall of
barometer
Fame?
of that?
Is he in it?
At least in the Bears Hall of Fame.
Bears Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Bears Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting offseason, people. We got a fair amount to get into this offseason. I'm looking forward to it. Football will always be at the top of mind.
Got 2.5 months until that happens.
We got 2.5 months, and then maybe some XFL talk.
No.
UFL. What is it anymore? Are we dropping it?
Are
we giving up?
On it?
Are we not picking teams again this year?
We could. We can. You know
we
what?
went to one game last year of the Battle Hawks, and we left, and we were like, this place sucked.
That was kind of fun. It was kind of fun, but it wasn't like. Let's give it another shot. Let's give it another shot. And
we'll give it another shot. We'll give it another shot.
If we stop talking about it, there's a reason as to why that happened.
That's kind of exactly what happened last year.
Yeah.
Now, if you're with us this long into the show, please make sure you share it to a friend, subscribe on whatever platform you're on, or call it in to air it out and give us your hottest takes. Would you suck a peen for 700 milli? Would you enjoy it? Would you pretend like you enjoy it? Call in. You don't know. You might give us a full diatribe and a full acting lesson.
Yeah.
The way Richard did. Once
Annie
again, that number 312-725-2107. Be sure to check in. And as always, people, it's the year of the nephews. Maybe you're an uncle. Maybe you're an aunt. Be the cool uncle. Be the cool aunt. Are the kids old enough to listen to our dumb takes? Bring them in.
About it.
Tell them about it. Because it's the year of the aunt and uncles and the kids.
Tell them about it.
As always, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Talking Tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.